Okay, I reset the key. We'll see if that helps. Okay, so get flags. Returns the paint flags. Uses the flag enum to test flag values. See enums ending in for bit. Okay. Let's see if we can just find underscore flag. Okay, there it was. Strike through text. Paint flag that applies a strike through decoration to drawn text. Constant value of 16. So I can move this. Okay, that's good. So I still want to log this just to see what it is every time I click it. And if item.getPaintFlags is equal to 16, we want to get rid of the strike through, else we want to add the strike through. So what is normal text? Constants, dither flag. Maybe if maybe I just want to I'm gonna actually just try running it like this. My gut feeling is whatever that line of text is doing before this is it was like saying if this paint the strike through, and my guess is if we now do this it will work. At least I hope. We'll see about that though. So what we're trying to do is click on the list view. Dang it, disconnected. Oops, so much for that. Yeah, I just reset the key too. Yeah, I have no idea what's going. I'm gonna try. We have two Wi-Fi's. I can try connecting to the other one and seeing if that helps. All right, let's start up the virtual machine and see if that's working. I'm using Genymotion for this. I tried using our emulator, but it's way too slow. Disconnected. Alright. We're going to be disconnected. BRB switching. Internet. Alright, Genymotion is up in action, and we can go ahead and get that going. Alright, cool. Yep. Takes a while to connect. So while Genymotion is firing up, should be done quickly. Genymotion's supposed to be fast. I don't know why it's taking so long. While we're waiting, we can. What other tabs do I have up? Oh yeah, that's my card view. You can get rid of the card view for now. Alright, we're good. Alrighty, so Let's go ahead and open it up. I back up. Alright, new note. An item. Soccer. Push OK. Hit it. Slash is cool. Now, how do we unslash that? So basically, if the paint is 17, paint is equal to 17, so we want to find out how to remove strike through in a text view. Alright, so yeah, so once we, and we're later on saying I would like strike through to be removed. I ended up finding this online. This is going to strike through, and therefore I call this on my on items. tv.setPaintFlags, tv.getPaintFlags, and paint.strikeThroughText. I have no clue how this works. Let's just plug this in, and let's put item. I've never seen a little tilde used in Java before. I have no clue what that is doing. And I have no clue what the statement, how this is even working at all. It's beats me. That stuff's confusing. Alright, all Gradle's executing, or building if you will. So I think I'm doing pretty good on, once I switch internets, that seems to be working good now. Alright, so how are we looking? Click new note, add an item, tennis. Click it, click it, click it, click it. Yes! There we go. Let's add another item. Tennis 2. Bam, 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 bam. Alright, cool. So we have that working. What do I want to do next? We can get rid of this log statement. We're done with that. I think I could probably get rid of this part. I'm not going to touch it. It could mess something up. So yeah, I think I got the stream. I switched internets to my, we have two internets, or two Wi-Fis. So I switched to the other one. It seems to be working fine now for the stream. Alright. So what do I want to do next? We'll work on the design of it in a second. I think what I want to do now is work on the card view. So if we go over to the activity main, right now we have a card view here, and what I want to do is for each card, every time I make a note, I should have a save button where they save it. They can save the button. I'm not going to worry about how this looks right now. I'm going to go in and make it look prettier later. Right now I'm just going to make, the basic structure of it. So this is going to be our save button. We're going to have some kind of button to save the note. I'll just call it save for now. And on the on click, We'll set an on-click listener for it. On-click. We're just going to say save note. Just go ahead and make that. Okay, so basically when I click save note, what do I want to do? That's pretty nice. I started with HTML and do you want to change the color scheme to improve importance? Windows change the color scheme to Windows Basic Key. Yeah, sure. I do not know what just happened. I started with Visual Studio and what's that language called? Visual Basic. And then I did some C#, and then I kind of stopped and I did some HTML, CSS, and then I took a Java course, I took a MOOC, and now I'm doing some Android stuff. Yeah, Windows has help with performance. I could get all the performance I need. Okay, so basically when they save the note, I want to save it to a database, and then, yeah. I did learn C# at university for a module, so I know some. Honestly, I did like a teen coder thing for C#, but I don't remember any of it. I totally forgot everything. The only languages I know right now are CSS, HTML, PHP. I know some WordPress, but that's not a programming language. And then Java. Also, I've done some Python. I'm probably just as good as Python, but I know as much as I do Java. But yeah. Okay, so I guess now is as good as time as any to set up a database. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It's not fun, but it's gotta be done. I'm just gonna go use my other project as a template. I made a database with that, and I can use that as my guide. So what I like to do is I'm going to make another folder in here. Make package. I like to just keep everything nice and in its folders. So I'm just going to make a database. Yeah, I totally spelled that wrong. Refactor. Okay. Then we're going to create a SQLite helper. So we'll make a note SQLite helper. So how this works is it's going to extend, oops, get rid of that, extend SQLite open SQLite. Okay, I'm totally spelling this wrong. Open helper. Okay, how this works is this is like our interface, how we're gonna work with the database. Instead of writing code or writing database language, we're gonna be using this. So we're gonna create database name. We'll call this notes .db. Then we'll create a private static final int. This is our database version. Call it 1. Again, we'll make a new table. Private static final string notes table. We'll just call this notes. Okay, and then let's see, we're gonna have a column. What do I want to have in the notes? Basically, I just want to store every single string that they add for notes. So, and right now I technically am supporting infinite number of like different, I don't know what you call them, notes, subnotes that you can add. So I want to make an array, I guess. I actually don't know how to do this. I need to Google it. Google.com different SQLite helper array list from SQLite. Alright, so let's see, how's this guy doing this? What I could do, I'm not sure, I know how to store a string into a table. I'm not that experienced with databases. I'm not sure if you can store an array. Get all table name into array. How to store an array into SQLite Android. Saving an array list. I had 2 array lists, both with thousands. I looked at the blobs and bytes, but for me the solution for speeding up the process and making it usable is by changing the insert method and getting rid of database.insert. Insert array in database. I want to save weekdays into database, so I thought I was storing in value each day. Selected this makes sense. So I was thinking, anyone can help me with this. If I should store it in a single array and retrieve the values, since there's only one column, you would use column separately this where string total score. I see what they're doing. I see, so they're just getting, okay. So they're taking every value they're taking every value in the array list, and they're making a table, is that right? No. How are they doing this? Oh, I hate databases. How to add data from an string to array list. No, that's not what I want to do. I need to save a string array to a database, but it won't let me. This is what I have. Create entry. Create execute. Let's put in SQLite open helper. How to store images? No. for an image. Okay, I'm not seeing anything for arrays. Shoot. So what I'm trying to do is, alright, so I'm creating right now so I can show you what I'm looking at. So I have an Android project that I've used, or that I've made, and for that I used a database, and you can see it right here. I used SQLite Open Helper, and what I did is I made columns, and they were just basically string values. So, but for this, I'm doing a to-do list, so there's going to be notes, and people can have infinite number of items in it. So I want to store like an array. I'm not sure if you can do that. So that's what I'm looking up right now. So like saving an array list in SQLite Database. I've been working with SQLite on Android. I would like to add an array list to a column in the table. Yeah, that's basically what I want to do. Then fetch the data back as an array list. This is a list of longs. I've noticed that SQL has an option for storing blobs. However, it looks like I need to convert the array list to byte first before being able to store it as a blob in my database. Please forgive me for savagely plagiarizing my previous answer to this. The other answers over there are very pertinent. I think Khan's approach is probably better than using Java serialization. Okay, so how is this working? 2-byte array. Is that how I want to do it? So let's just test some stuff out. Okay, private static final string column. This will be our note list. No, what you want to call it? Note list. So this is how we're going to do this database. Then we want to do a column ID. Just copy that right over. And we'll just take notes table, column note list, except just going to go like that. So for this, this is not going to be a text, it's going to be an array. Create table. So let's go look up SQLite. Adding an array as it's a column, whatever the syntax is for that. I don't know why I keep going, yeah. SQLite adding an array as a column. How do I store an array in one column in SQLite? What are they using? Count. SQLite does not support arrays. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, so it does null integer real blob. The value is a blob of data stored exactly as input. Cool. So that's what we want to do. Maybe blobbing. And then we just need to add in some functions for it to use. Note SQLite helper. Okay, so this is the constructor. I'm just going to call it super. And so this is all our. So basically, all this is doing is this is creating the database, and it's keeping it's making these static variables so we can use it. We're going to create what's called a data source in just a second. We can make that now actually. Notes data source. And this is how we're actually going to retrieve and put stuff in the database. And this is basically where all the fun is. Not. This is where it gets fun. Okay, so first off, we're going to just create some variables at the top here. Private notes SQLite. Actually, we call it note SQLite helper. Then we call this notes data source. Notes. I think we're going to call this notes. Let's refactor this. Rename notes. Refactor. Equal to. Yes, that's perfect. Alright, private, and then we want to have a database. We're going to call this SQLite Database, and we're going to just make a array of columns. All columns is equal to. And this is terrible. I only have one column. Why would I put all columns? Just do string. No, this is, you don't even need this. Well, I guess it shortens it by a little bit. Okay, so string we're going to call summoner. It's just going to be column is equal to new summoner. I don't know why I just said summoner. A new, sorry, it's not equal to new anything. This is notes SQLite helper dot, called it note, call it something, column note list. Oops, where the heck were we? Column note list. Okay, so I accidentally made this. Yes, the summoner's table. Okay, the only thing that should be private is these two up here. Alright, that's right, wrong. Alright, cool. Let's hop back over here to the database. Stack member assessed instant via reference. What is it like? Existing. Oh, why am I? Oh yeah, that was stupid. Okay, so we're gonna create an open and close function. So this is how we're gonna open the database. Let's say database SQLite database is equal to notes SQLite helper dot get writable database. Then we're going to close the database. Close. SQLite database. No, helper. SQLite helper dot close. Okay. Next, we want to make a function to get the array list from the database. So we're gonna make it, let's call it public. It's gonna return an array list of strings. Get, I guess we should say create. We're basically create an array list and return it. Say create notes. Seems good enough. And we'll just get from the database. So we're just gonna start a database transaction. So we're just gonna get from database dots begin transaction. Put this in a try statement, and then we don't want to catch anything. We just want to have a finally statement. That way we can end the transaction, just in case if we're in this try and let's say it breaks, we want to make sure we close the database, because that would be very, very bad if we did not close the database. Okay, so we're going to just say content values is equal to new content values. You know what, before we actually do a create notes, I'm actually not exactly sure. Let's just return null for now. Let's put that inside here too. We need to figure. I need to figure out how we're actually going to actually. No, what am I talking about? This is. Oh wait, let me think about this. So, moved first. How is this database working? So I want to store the array list. So right here we're not, okay, yeah, that's, we want to update Sumner. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to update note, but how's this working? Cursor, Sumner, delete Sumner. Okay, yeah, we also need to do, let's make a constructor for this class. So public notes data source. All we need is a context. And all we're going to do is initialize our SQLite helper. Notes SQLite helper dot, not dot, new SQLite, notes SQLite helper, and then we're just going to pass that context. Alright, sweet. So I think how we want to do this is, so what I want to do is I want to store the value. I want to store the value of the array list in the database, and I want to be able to retrieve it later. and that way I keep the notes for my users, which is really important. So I just need it. So SQLite Database doesn't let you store a array list, so I'm gonna have to make a blob, and I'm gonna have to put that in. And I need to think about how I'm gonna do that. Okay, let's see how these guys are doing it. Okay, so this is how they're storing it in the database. Byte array output stream is equal to this. And then we're saying data output stream doubt. We can new or long their doubt. So they're writing it to the data string or data stream. Closing it, and then 2-byte array, execute updates. I mean, we can try this, see if it works. Alright, let's give this thing a shot. Public, oops. It's going to be a void put notes. Let's call it that. Put notes. Let's call it store notes. No, put notes sounds better. Store notes. Store put. I'm going to go with oh yeah, thanks for watching. It doesn't matter. Put notes will work. Let me pull this back up. Okay, and then we actually need to pass in what array list we want to store. Just call it array list. We have a byte array output the stream. He calls it about. I guess that's fine. I don't like that name. Byte array output stream. It's called bstream. Is equal to new byte output stream. I'm just going to put a data output stream. Call it doubt. No, I don't like doubt either. Let's call it dstream. Is equal to new data stream. Cool. And we'll pass in our bstream. And then we can do for int I is equal to 0, I is less than array list dot size, I plus plus. We're just gonna say dstream dot write. What? There's not a write string? Write char, write double. What? Well, I'm gonna have to rethink this. So the guy, okay, so if you guys want to see, didn't catch this, he's doing dot write long. Well, we're doing string, so I was just copying and changing everything to string, but there's not dot right string. So if you're listening, I honestly don't know what I'm doing. Databases are tough. You think it's dot char? We can try that. I'm not sure. The other thing, actually, it may be dot bytes. That actually, so it's either chars. It's either dot right chars or it's either dot right bits, and I don't know which one it is. Do you have any idea? It's one of these. Yeah, I believe char. We can try char for now, and then if that doesn't work, you can try your bytes. Oops. Let's do, yeah, stop get at I. Alright, we can keep following this guy then. Let's see. Alright, then he, alright, what is it like? Unhandled exception. Okay. Let's surround it and try. And we are just going to ignore this exception. I guess for this we actually really shouldn't. On tag exception caught when putting note in database. And again, let's make our tag. Go up here. Private static final string tags equal to notes.datasource.class.class. Cool. Alright, then we're gonna close the stream. Dot close. Then what is it like here? Another unhandled exception. Copy this. When putting, actually we should say when writing string to char and d string. Over here we should say exception caught when closing d string. Alright, cool. Then we're going to say get a byte array as bytes. I don't know why it calls it that. Is equal to bstream dot 2-byte array. Prepared statement stmt is equal to no. However you get this. stmt dot set bytes. One as bytes. assert not equal to null. Let's do another one. So the problem here is, okay, so, alright, so, well, is that, okay, we can write the exception real quick. When setting byte array. Okay, right now, okay, so here's the problem we're facing now. This is the code we're looking at. He does prepared statement. I'm trying to do an array list. I'm trying to turn an array list. What I want to do is store an array list in a database, and then get the array list from the database. And so I was going to store it as a blob, but I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. I don't know if you know. And so I was looking how this guy was storing along. He stores it as a blob, because or maybe I think he's actually storing it as a byte. Trying to store. So prepared statement. So there's obvious. And I have no clue what to write for this prepared statement. I'll continue asking about my SQL create.table. A var binary. I can just try doing this how I stored a string. See how that works. Instead of doing this prepared statement crap. So that's what it is. Alright, so I'll try and then final. So begin SQLite Database dot begin transaction, content values equal to new content values, and then we're just going to put values dot put notes helper dot this column. We're going to set the as bytes. Yeah, just insert it as a string into a blob. Yeah, just insert as a string into a blob. Array list string input arrays equal new array list. Alright, so you can just put it in as a blob. Okay. Well, we can get rid of all this crap up here then. We can just stick this right in there. Alright, well, it's not liking this. So this is how I was going to. What I want to do is I want to put So how are you putting into the database? This is how I usually do it. Notes helper dot table values column ID notes column ID new string dot value of sumner dot get. I don't know what I'm gonna do for that. What is this last? New string dot value of sumner dot get column ID. So I don't know what this last. What is this last one for? Where arguments? Where clause? I don't think we have. I don't know if it'll just crash it if I just leave it empty. We'll try. New string. And then we set the database transaction successfully. Okay, so I just add update to change the entry so where ID is equal to 1. Insert if there aren't. Update is to change the entry. So yeah, okay, so yeah, this is going to be my insert function. So is it okay to keep this string empty? I think it is. Also, why is it not liking? I'm passing in the array list as this is how I usually add stuff to the database. Am I doing this wrong? This is, and it doesn't like this array, putting a array list as a content value. It was okay it being a byte array, but it doesn't like it as an array list, putting that as a content value. Add demand stack import. Well, that there. GSON is equal to new GSON string input string is equal to GSON to GSON input array. Okay, let's try that out. I don't even know what GSON. Do you mean JSON? I didn't try JSON. I'm almost positive you mean JSON. I've never heard of JSON, and it's not auto importing either. Create class. I'm gonna assume you mean JSON. What is JSON? String input string is equal to yeah, I have no clue what that is. Alright, so just gonna copy this code right in. So this is what somebody's suggesting. JSON dot to JSON. JSON dot to JSON. Yeah, this is making no sense. Alright, I'm gonna try putting it as a byte array because I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, we're just gonna go back to using this for now. The guy said though that you need to make sure it's. You can try string. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, okay, okay. That's actually a pretty good idea. String input string values array list to JSON. Just below the content values. Yep. Okay, I get what you're talking about. Values dot to. Look, there's not a to JSON function though. Array list. JSON stringer dot to JSON maybe. No dot. Maybe it's content values. Content values dot. No, it doesn't like that either. Values dot. To string get as string get. Values dot to JSON. Oh, he has a good point. Org.json already. I wonder if I can pass in. Yeah. And then we'll accept a JSON array. No, and then I can turn this JSON array into a string. And then put in my input string. So is this what you mean? Making the array list into a JSON array, and then making the JSON array into a string, and then we're going to store this string. Okay. Okay, yeah. Now I can come back to the data source, get rid of this, not the data source, what? Put notes, so we don't need this anymore. Okay, come over, okay, to our helper. We don't need a blob anymore, we can do text now, because all we're doing is storing a now we're just storing a string. Let's close some of these tabs down. They're getting a little crowded. Okay, so so the put notes, maximum. Okay, so someone asked how big am I gonna store the how big is the string gonna be? The array list, I'm not sure if I don't know if I should set a cap on it. I guess that's probably a good idea. Actually, let's do that right now. So for the add item, we want to do this. Let's say 100. I think 100 items is good. Let's say I am going to set the max to 100. Okay, so let's set, so if items dot size is less than 100, then we can go ahead and do this. Else we want to alert users you can only do 100 items in one node. Okay, cool. So I think storing in the database is good now. Next, I want to update. Do I want to update? Yeah, let's update. So how are we going to update? Oh wait, no. We don't want to say dot update, we want to do dot set, right? Let me see. SQLite Database dot insert. Yeah, I don't want to update. Insert. Let me look. SQLite Database dot insert. String null call hack. Dot insert string table, and we want string null column hack. I don't even know what that means. Well, I'm gonna Google this because I don't want to mess it up by setting up the wrong one. So SQLite database dot insert. Google. Convenience method for inserting a row into the database. What? It means no return any data such as the number of factors. Here's use insert. Okay, optional, maybe null. SQLite doesn't allow inserting a complete empty row without naming at least one column name. If your private values is empty, no column names are known, blah 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 blah. Okay, we can set it null. Okay, so now let's update it, which is the exact same thing. It's literally the exact same thing, except we want to put update. So actually, let's copy this. Copy. Paste this in this update thing I want to use. Copy this. Get rid of this. We're going to update the notes. And instead of inserting, we're going to update. Cool. So we're just going to do the same thing. And I want to go look up the update function, make sure I'm doing that one right too. Update. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so where clause, optional where clause apply when updating. Passing null will update all rows. Oh, okay. Okay, max is 255. Okay, so the maximum rate list is 255. I think 100's fine. So I'm going to set it at 100. Okay, the option, so no, we're okay, we're saying a where's clause. Where ID. I'm using the column ID right here. Oops. This last one is the arguments. The where arguments. You may include question marks in the where clause, which will be replaced. You gotta remove column ID. Why? And use it as a where clause. What's wrong with this? This is just locating which, I guess yeah, this is just locating what column I have. Yeah, I'm updating an entry. This is how I'm finding which column I want to. No, I'm updating just a column. Search the entry you need to. Okay, I see what you're talking about. So it's searching the row. Where searches the row? Row? Okay. Okay, I see what you're talking about. So is it the fourth parameter or the third parameter then? Okay, I see. Well, I want to replace all the columns, or all the rows. How do I replace all the columns, or all the rows? Column ID. Okay. You need one. Okay. I'm gonna have multiple columns with one unique entry. Multiple columns with unique. Entry. Because what I want to do is I want them to have several different notes, and then each note is an array list of items. I get what you're talking about. Let's say ID text1 text2. Yeah. ID is unique. Text1 text2 you can change. Yes. Okay, so you're saying one column with a lot of different rows and having, okay, so have one column that says notes and then have a lot of rows and each row is a different note. One column and several rows. Okay. And then for each note, I want to give it I need to give it a special ID. Okay, I see. The wire causes you to apply when updating. Passing will update all rows. Okay, so this where clause. Okay, you mean. Okay, I see what you're talking about. So update the table content values. A map for the column names to new. Okay, so I want to. Then I'm gonna need to do a shared preference. That way I memorize or that I persist the value of the note's ID. Shared preference to say. Oh wait, the row ID. Oh wait. Would I be giving the row an ID? I'm not giving the row an. Oh, okay. I don't want. I wouldn't be giving rows not have IDs. So I don't want to auto. Does it support auto? Yeah. Okay, okay, so what I was thinking was, okay, so I have notes. I have multiple notes. Each note is a string array list. That seems like a good way to generate an ID versus assigning it yourself. Yeah. Okay, so then you can make an auto increment. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so then, and then in my data source, so this would have note ID notes is auto incremental. So this way I would have a lot of different columns. Well, is that right? Column. Okay, so table notes is your array list. Yes. Okay, yeah. And I have multiple notes. Oh, I hate databases. So then, okay, so I have a table. I have a table, and in that table I have one column, which is a note list, which is a string. And let's see. How does... Okay, so how I did my other database is I had... So I've made a database before, and how I did with that is I had multiple notes in one row. I'm terrible at explaining this. Basically, okay, I have a notebook. In the notebook, there's going to be notes. Each note is an array list. And I'm just thinking about how I want to store that in the database. So, yeah. Okay, your column is the no idea and the notes. Column is no idea. And I have, next row will be, so I only have one row and multiple columns. Or, I mean, one column and multiple rows. Yeah. Okay. And then 1 and 2 are columns. Okay. So and then I'm updating whatever the column ID is. 2 columns, multiple rows. Column 1 is ID, column 2 is the note. So is column... Okay, I see it. So... Wait, do I... Updating the column ID? Dude, this is confusing. I'm pretty sure it'll work. I'm gonna get paint out. Okay, so this is... Where's the drawing tool? Okay, so... What I'm thinking is... multiple columns. So this is column 1. And then in it, it'll have a note. And this note is a array list. Column 2 will have another note. No, is that how I want to do it? I don't think so. Okay, so column 1 will have a note. Actually, I think how I'm doing it is I'll have several several tables. No, notes table. Gosh. Okay, column 1 and column 2. Just use a string. Yeah, that's what we did. We up here. This is when we're creating. So right here is ID. Column 2 is the notes. So this is our array list. And then I'm going to have several rows like this, right? Okay, I'm getting it now. Okay, so when I update, all I want to do is I want to find the row ID. I want to find the row of where the node is. So how am I differentiating? So I need a shared preference. And you need to update each note by using the where note ID, which is the ID number you want to change. Okay, so how we're getting that is I need to give each note an ID. Should I do it in shared preferences so it persists through each time? I think I want to give it in regular SQL it look like update set note or yeah, I have no clue how regular database stuff works. That's actually probably something I should learn. On the note table, So how am I going to figure out which, so I have the array list that I want to update, but how do I figure out which row I want to plug it into? Each row has an ID, but how am I keeping the IDs with our array list? That way they stick together. Because I want to, sorry, right. Okay, so the array list, it has an ID in the thing, in the table. If I want to, okay, so I have the node 30 in the table, or the ID attribute as well as the list. Okay, that's what I did for my other one. Let's make a new package. Do you have an array list as the parameter? I'm gonna make a, what do you mean by do I have it as a parameter? Alright, make a note class. Basically, I just want to have two things, right? I want just an ID in your update function. Yeah, right here I pass in the array list that I want to update. Okay, and in this I just want an array list. String, and then an ID. Public note how did I, should I be giving, how was I giving the ID in this one? ID, get ID from Sumner data source. So I said Sumner data is equal to new JSON object. Oh wait, that's not even want. Okay, so when I make it, okay, I said it. Alright, so we're gonna pass in an array list as the parameters. And int ID. Set the array list, set the ID. And then I basically just want to override all the functions of a array list, because all this is an array list with an ID. That's basically what a node is. Okay. So public get would return a string get int location. Just return array list dot. Actually, new array list. All we're doing is setting the ID for the node, right, in the constructor. Then public string set int block is actually a void function. Okay. And array list dot set. String then int. Wait, why isn't it like this? What? String new string block new string. Wait, is that what we're on? Good. Let's switch these parameters around so it matches what the actual set method works. And then let's just go back to our activity and change it around. I guess we also want to, in our node, do public array list string. We're just gonna say get array list. Return array list. Okay. So how was I doing this? Sumner okay, M Sumner. I'm just looking to see how I set the ID for this, for my other project. New Sumner. Wait, how's this working? What is ID? Oh, that's a totally different thing. Column ID. Get column ID. Set column ID. Okay, I was doing this totally wrong. Instead of int ID, it should be a long. Get rid of this. And I just want to make getters and setters for it. Alright, I'm going to finish up this class tomorrow. I'm feeling we get a lot done. We got most of the database set up. We'll finish that up tomorrow. Finish up this note class and get everything working, hopefully. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.